Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to the Coito Ergo Sum DLC crossover. I had a good night's sleep and some breakfast, and we're ready to find some equipment and supplies for Joshua. There are 3 places we need to explore, and you can do them in any order, but the way the quest log lays them out minimizes backtracking, so I see no reason not to just do it that way. Looks like the first one is right here. Yeah, that's it. You're probably supposed to go all the way around and come up the river, but I think I can make that without dying.
See this? This is why your own 2 feet are better than...
Not exactly what I intended, but it worked. Now, there should be a compass in here. It's a lunchbox, but not the ones we need. There's somewhere. Ah, there it is. Broken compass. As usual for this kind of thing, you can use repair skill, find the right replacement parts if your repair skill isn't high enough, or leave it alone, but my repair skill is good enough. And there was also a somewhat unusual option of taking it with you without fixing it, so you can fix it later without schlepping all the way back here, which I'm sure would be greatly appreciated if you don't have the skill or the parts. All right, on to the next. Hey, I think that's an overlook. I mean, there are overlooks all over the place, but I think that's one of the ones that unlocks nearby map markers if Follows Chalk is with you. I'm sure there's an easier way up there, but I'm kind of contrary when it comes to climbing. Which, once in a while, gets me someplace I'm not supposed to be, or lets me bypass danger in a way the game designers didn't really intend. Granted, sometimes it's just a waste of time when it's like, dude, there's a road right over there. But even then, it keeps my jump key finger in practice. See? Big Horner understands me. I'm glad I came up here. I always wanted a 1911. Not going to use it in this condition, but if I can get it repaired, it might be a good backup weapon. I mentioned in the original Coito Ergo Sum walkthrough that Hennikel & Koch's Enfield rifle mod is an essential part of my load order for Courier Jeff, which for some reason, probably trademark issues, shows up as Macintosh in your inventory. Ditto for Lone Wanderer Jeff in Fallout 3. Not because it's overpowered, it's arguably not as good as the vanilla sniper rifle. I just always liked him in real life, so role-playing as myself and all that. Now, where are we going? Fishing lodge. Can I get down here? Sketchy, but yes. And this looks even sketchier. I don't know. This looks maybe doable, but probably another case of questionable judgment. Oh boy. Okay, yeah. Oh. Collision detection is... Ow. Just like I said about climbing, doing this kind of thing when there doesn't seem to be any good reason is valuable practice for those times when it turns out there is a good reason. Something's going on up there. White legs, I think. I should probably go check that out. Follows Chalk won't follow me down the cliff, and they might have ambushed him coming around the long way. Ants. I guess that's what the white legs were fighting. All quiet now. Ant burrow. Well, that explains the ants. Hello? Follows Chalk. Are you up here? See green on the compass. Mole rat. Kill cam. He was fighting white legs, but who knows where. More paintings. That looks like a different style than the ones we saw last week. Well, I guess he'll catch up eventually. Yao Guai Cave. I think that has something to do with one of the side quests, but I'm not going in there now. And I think we're on the wrong side of the river. But it looks like we can get across right here. Yep. Oh, there was something red on the compass there for a second. More white legs. Still in caution. So there's somebody around. Don't see anything. And still no sign of Follows Chalk. Mantis Gauntlet. I will never use that, but it might make a nice souvenir for somebody back home. Seems like the kind of thing the stag would enjoy. Well, nobody around, friend or foe. Guess we keep heading for the lodge. Which, from the looks of the quest marker, should be right around this rock. Yep, there it is. Well, hopefully when we go through a loading screen, Follows Chalk will catch up. Let's have a bite to eat before we go in, get a few hit points back, and stay ahead of the hunger and thirst meters. Geckos, no problem. Oh, there's Follows Chalk. All right, let's have a look around. Hunting shotgun. Yeah, I have one at home. And it looks like whatever we're looking for is in this cabinet. I actually forget which objective we're on. Focus. The walkie-talkies, right. You know what? I am going to take that shotgun. It's not as good as the Enfield for enemies that have high damage threshold, but most of the enemies in this DLC don't.
For as long as I remember, the dead horses have thought that places of the old world were taboo. Doesn't look so spooky to me.
It's great that he's not bothered at all by this gecko. Which is kind of a non-intuitive side effect of how the Animal Friend perk works. There's an Animal Friend faction, and any creature in that faction is non-hostile to the player faction, which includes the player, obviously, and any companions while they're actually hired. And there's a key to the cabinet with the walkie-talkie, so you can still complete the mission even if your lockpick skill isn't high enough to open it. Anyway, temporary companions like escort missions typically aren't in the player faction, but the rule of thumb is if a character has a companion wheel, animals that ignore the player will ignore them too. And speaking of companions, I just realized companions can die in hardcore mode, so I should probably try not to get too far away from Follows Chalk from now on. Oh, more white legs.
Gotcha!
Ooh, I got the XP, but I think that was him. Good shot. Still in caution, so there must be more around. Well, now we're hidden.
Ha!
Another interesting side effect of Animal Friend, and you see this more in Fallout 3 than New Vegas, is that enemies' dogs typically aren't hostile to the player. Hey, puppy. Riot shotgun. That's even better than the hunting shotgun, I think. We'll take a look. It's hard to compare because of the difference in weapon condition, but we'll take it just in case. Now, where's the first guy? Over here someplace. There he is. Oh, yes, a Tommy gun. I definitely won't say no to one of those. I started to talk about this when we found the 1911, but I got distracted falling down a cliff. It's kind of interesting how Fallout 1 and 2 had quite a few weapons based on real-world guns and used their actual names, like the Desert Eagle and the FNFAL. But Fallout 3 weapons were pretty much all fictionalized, and only a few, like the Chinese assault rifle, were even based on real guns. New Vegas kind of splits the difference, with quite a few weapons that are clearly based on real world, but have generic names, like the hunting shotgun looks suspiciously like a Remington 870, and this 45 auto submachine gun is obviously a Thompson. Probably won't use it much, but this is definitely going on the display case at the house in Pahrump. All right, back to business.
Whoa! Here we go! Gotcha!
Giant Cazador. I had it in the back of my head that you get ambushed by one of those after you complete one of these objectives, but we're almost there, so maybe it's not a scripted event. There's just one that hangs out in this area, and when I played it before, I missed it on the way in. Maybe approached from a different direction and then happened to draw its attention when I left the building. I don't know. Anyway. Scorpions. Pretty sure he got 2 of those. There it is, medical kit. Contaminated medical supply kit. Like the compass, we can fix it with a skill check or replace the damaged components, and in this case, we also have the option to sterilize it with alcohol, presumably booze, or leave it alone or take the damaged kit with you so you don't have to come back here when you do have the right skills or items. But my medicine skill was plenty high enough to fix it without any hassles. The general store should be the last place we have to go. We just need the lunch boxes, I think. Oh, Manus. Hello? Any day. Thank you. I don't know exactly how many lunchboxes there are, but it looks like we have quest markers, so no worries. Looks like there's another mantis behind that door.
The spitter plants and the green monster men aren't native to Zion. Wonder where they came from.
Spitter plants? That was a mantis. Oh, right. There's a whole subplot about how people from Vault 22 came to Zion and brought the spore infestation with them. Well, we'll worry about that when it comes up. Right now, I'll find the rest of these lunch boxes and get them back to Joshua. Silenced 22 pistol. Have one of those at home, too. Money. Oh, hey! There's the snow globe. I almost forgot the one in Dead Money until people reminded me in the comments, so I'm glad I found this one by pure luck.
Let me tell you a story. When I was a boy, a man came through the valley with one of the caravans. Tall man, big mustache, carried a guitar. I asked what he did for his living, and the interpreter told me he was a singer. "What is that?" I asked. The man explained that he went from place to place and sang for people, who gave him food and shelter and care in return. I couldn't believe that there was a place in this world where a man could do that. I promised myself then that one day I'd explore that world myself.
I know that guy. I got him a job working for Tommy at the Tops Casino.
A job as a singer? Then it really is true.
Sure is. So, what does Joshua think of your curiosity?
I haven't told him yet. Never had the growins.
I really don't like meddling in people's business, but maybe I could talk to him about it for you. Be a neutral party.
You'd do that? Sure. Sounds smart to me. He might not get so mad at you.
Maybe. Oh no.
Go with fortune, friend.
I just started a quest that I think determines whether or not he gets a good ending. Well, back to Joshua, I guess. Yep, this is indeed another overlook. The Airy. Won't be able to see much from up here because it's dark, but there's probably some loot. Turn on the Pip-Boy light. Some of these have a lower floor you can access, and some don't. And this looks like one of the ones that doesn't. Check upstairs then.
Ah, the Eastern Virgin. What's the phrase? House, sweet house.
It's home sweet home, but it's cool that you've gone beyond the basics of language and you're working on speaking idiomatically. Beds. My fatigue meter's probably still not in bad shape, but if we sleep now, we'll be able to see better in daylight. Actually, what am I doing? Sleeping adds to your hunger and thirst meters, so I should talk to Joshua first and then take care of all that. Follows Chalk seems like he's interested in seeing more of the world.
I thought he might. It's been some time since I've visited civilized places. I don't have fond memories of them. But I have always seen these places from the outside. I'd rather not influence him more than I already do. Why don't you talk to him?
You know, I don't really like being in the middle of this kind of thing, but okay.
Whatever you tell him, I'm sure it will be fine. It's still his choice to make. I just want him to make it without looking to me for approval. He's a man. He can make his own decisions.
Yes, that is exactly how I feel about it, too. How do I always get myself mixed up in this kind of thing? Anyway, while I've got you here, you mentioned something about another courier. Who are you expecting?
Caesar would never admit this openly, but he knows that I'm alive. I've killed enough of his frumentari and assassins that have come looking. I've heard one of them travels the Mojave as a courier. Most of Caesar's agents meet a fitting end in NCR territory, but maybe this one survived.
Yeah, about that. Caesar is dead. I saw to it personally. Just thought you should know.
I have to admit, it's hard to believe. That even after all he did to me, all he tried to do to find and erase me from this world, he went first. No doubt this will be good for the Mojave. I can only hope Arizona and the tribes don't suffer as the Legion falls apart around them.
Well, not to be glib, but a power vacuum can't be any worse for them than the system they have right now. I take it you don't think Linnaeus can lead the Legion?
I think only Caesar can lead the Legion. I've never met anyone who could take his place. I couldn't. I never had a mind for logistics. I don't know Linnaeus, but from what I've heard, he has no interest in leading anyone, unless it's in battle. No. The Legion dies with Caesar. What follows now are just the last steps of a man who does not yet realize that he's walking dead.
I hope you're right. You know, you get kicked out of the dialogue when he asks you to fetch supplies, but maybe I should have stuck around and asked a few more questions because he has a lot of options here. What can you tell me about all these tribes?
A great deal. There are 3, make that 4, tribes here in Zion. You've already met the Whitelegs on the way in. In this camp, you'll find dead horses. In the Narrows, the Sorrows. And finally, there's Daniel and myself. We're New Canaanites.
Well, we already know why the Whitelegs attacked the caravan. Or maybe we don't. We know why they attacked the New Canaanites because Caesar told them to, but that doesn't necessarily explain why they attacked us. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
They attack everyone who isn't a Whiteleg, especially caravans. They don't know how to survive on their own, so they have to raid. But as for why they are here, they are trying to wipe us out. All of us. They want to join Caesar's Legion, and they can only prove their worth by destroying the New Canaanites and everyone we shelter.
And that, about the tribal speaking our language, or not, is related to something I might talk about a little more once I refresh my memory. And it's something that might be even more controversial today than it was then, so I don't want to get it wrong. Do they speak our language?
Most don't. It's been hundreds of years since the war. They've developed their own languages. Take the dead horses. We think they were originally refugees from a place called Rez, east of the Grand Canyon. They speak a combination of Rez and a language spoken by travelers who were visiting Rez when the bombs fell. Over time, the two languages blended. I was a translator years ago, but it's hard to keep up with all of the tribal variations.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Does the valley belong to the dead horses?
The valley belongs to God, but no. The dead horses live at Dead Horse Point, up the Colorado River. They came here because I asked them to. Before I returned to the fold, I visited them years earlier. I looked much different then, but I left an impression on them. I taught them how to hunt more efficiently, how to maintain their weapons and pre-war equipment. When I returned, they showed their appreciation.
You also mentioned the Sorrows. Why haven't I seen any of them?
The Sorrows have many skilled hunters among them, but no warriors. They have not had to deal with war or raiders for decades. Even though they can hunt a full-grown Yaoguai, they don't know how to deal with the Whitelegs. That's why we're here.
I'm sure we'll meet them soon. And what about the new Canaanites? Are you really a tribe?
We wear more clothing than them and understand more about technology. But we're still a tribe, a linked family of families. The Boneyard, Phoenix, New Vegas, they're just places, metal and stone. New Canaan dies, but the tribe lives on. When the walls come tumbling down, when you lose everything you always have family. And your family always has tribe.
I noticed you were cleaning and stockpiling 45 pistols when I was here yesterday, and I took a couple Thompson submachine guns off some Whitelegs who attacked us while we were gathering supplies. Don't have many of those back in the Mojave.
In the Great Basin and Colorado Plateau, all tribes are known for a specific weapon. Whitelegs are known for their big submachine guns, storm drums. They broke into an armory near Spanish Fork and have been using them for years. Of course, the dead horses have their wooden war clubs, and even the Sorrows have their Yaoguai gauntlets. This type of .45 automatic pistol was designed by one of my tribe almost 400 years ago. Learning its use is a new Canaanite rite of passage.
Huh. Didn't know John Browning was a Mormon. Learn something new every day. Well, assuming that's actually true and not a Fallout alternate reality thing. So it sounds like you run the show around here.
I wouldn't say that. I am the acting war chief for the dead horses. They look up to me for such matters, but I only have the authority they give me. Daniel is the spiritual leader and main link of the new Canaanites to the Sorrows. He's up in the Narrows right now.
How's your repair skill?
Let me have a look. My tribe may take too much pride in its mechanical talents, but in truth, we are intrigued by the workings of a fine firearm.
100? Nice. I'm not going to pay him to fix anything I can fix myself, but if there's something I really want to use and I can't find any spares, it's good to know. Yeah, I forgot we were supposed to take the supplies to Daniel, not bring them back to Joshua. I switched the active quest to help Follows Chalk with his dilemma, so the quest marker was on Joshua, and now it's on him. But I'm not ready to talk about that yet, because I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, so I think I'll get a little more sleep and talk to him after breakfast. Hello? Joshua? Were you sleeping with me? No. I think I was just sleeping in his bed and he was waiting very patiently for me to get up. All right, let's have something to eat and drink. Maybe warm up by the fire. Apparently that's not a real seat. What do we have? Apple sounds good. Just check. Thirst's okay. Hunger's okay. Sleep's good. Let's go.
Why do you carry all those bottle caps anyway? They jangle like crazy.
Because I don't have any spurs. Now that's the way back up to the Welcome Center. But if I remember correctly, the Sorrows camp is right on the river, just like the Dead Horses camp. So in theory, we wouldn't have to worry about any inconvenient terrain getting in the way if we just follow the river. Yeah, there it is. I know my usual MO is to stay as high as I can all the time, but it's healthy to step outside your comfort zone once in a while. And by the way, I was wrong last week about the fish. They don't actually show up on your compass. There must have been a couple bighorners or something up on the hill directly behind them that I was seeing on the compass. And that cliff painting is in a completely different style than the one Follows Chalk pointed out last week. I don't know what's going on over there. More white legs, probably. Dead horses. Yep, white legs. You're welcome. Let's go see what they had. Anyway, I was saying I don't know if the cliff paintings' different art styles signify different tribes made them or just different artists. Or if it signifies anything at all, really.
Feels good to be doing some actual scouting, not just following.
Something hostile ahead. It's like a giant ant on the bridge. Well, unless it glitches down here, that's not my problem. Where'd it go? I had to say something. Oh, there it is. It's still up there. And there's a Yao Guai. Don't think we have to worry about the ant much longer. Yep, there's the circle of life. I think that might be the bridge where we escape at the very end. Not sure. Cross that bridge when we come to it. But sorry, everyone. Please don't unsubscribe.
So I finally get to explore all those taboo places without the other scouts yelling at me? Can't wait.
Another welcome and timely change of subject from Follows Chalk. It's up there, besides bighorners. There's a map marker. Some kind of construction. Nothing to say about this one. Something friendly. Burial mounds. Don't worry, I'm not going to desecrate any sacred places. Well, not unless I have a better reason than just looting, anyway. Is there a caretaker or something? Who's up here? Oh, another bear. Never mind.
That back when medicine smells funny. Guess it works, though.
I understand. I had the same reaction to healing powder the first time I ran across it. And this appears to be another dock that I guess is just there to give you a convenient map marker. Otherwise, nothing exciting. I mean, it makes sense that there'd be a ton of docks and piers along the river. It just seems weird that even the uninteresting ones have map markers. What's up there? Is that the back entrance to the Sorrows camp? No, doesn't look like it. So what is it? One way to find out. Cazador. And spore plants. Yeah, that's a nope. Maybe we'll come back later, but right now, got one. Nice shot, but we gotta go. Come on. Good. The spore plants aren't that bad because they're immobile, but throw cazadores into the mix while the plants are spitting at you. That's something I'd rather come back and deal with alone. I don't want him getting poisoned and dying. And while you can stick your companions with a stim pack on the companion wheel, you can't administer anti-venom. Something aggroed this gecko, but I don't see what. A couple of green markers on the other side of the river, so it's probably more wildlife that's non-hostile to us, but hostile toward geckos. There's something right there. A baby gecko. Probably shouldn't get too close in case that aggroes its mom. Ah, a dog. Or a coyote or something. I wouldn't, man. I don't think either one really wants to fight.
I hear some odd things about the civilized lands outside Zion. Is there really a giant thunder lizard people live inside?
Sort of. It's a store they built in the shape of a dinosaur. And the owner technically doesn't live there. He lives next door, but yeah, close enough. And this coyote pup looks very conflicted. I want to eat a gecko, but they're really big and scary. Yep, circle of life. There's a map marker on that. Gotta be something on top of it. Caterpillar's mound. Caterpillars of what? If a swarm of cazadores come buzzing out of the top, I am not going to be happy. Xander root. Really? Is that it? Check the local map. Nope. No entrances. Well, I guess if you were really into crafting, this would be nice. Get back down without breaking my legs.
The spitter plants and the green monster men aren't native to Zion. Wonder where they came from.
Well, the only other place I've seen them is Vault 22. I wasn't sure if we were talking about the same thing when you mentioned them back at the general store yesterday, but they definitely are. And that is the entrance to the Narrows. Guess it's time we have a talk. I talked to Joshua about your thoughts on civilization.
Yeah? What did he say?
Well, I'm not going to lie. He said he has a hard time being objective about the whole idea and that I should give you advice.
He said that? Well, I guess you have been out there more recently than he has. So, what's your advice?
Ooh. You're putting me in an uncomfortable position here, follows Chalk. On one hand, it's never a bad idea to seek advice from people whose judgment you have reason to trust. But bear in mind, you've seen me jump into a cart teetering on the edge of a cliff to investigate a box that turned out to be empty, so my judgment is far from infallible. On the other hand, I'm very much a follow your dreams kind of guy. I have no problem disappointing people if they place expectations on me that are unfair or because they want to control me. It's a little harder if I know they're genuinely concerned because they think I'm making a mistake, but still, it's my mistake to make. So I gotta say, the only person who can decide if some other culture would suit you better than life in the valley is you, and the only way to make an informed decision is to see for yourself what it's like out there.
Really? You think so? Whew! I'm going to do it. After all this is over, I'm going to go explore civilization. Dankney, Akis, I never would have had the growins to ask him myself.
Yeah, that doesn't actually make me feel any better. Well, let's go meet the Sorrows, I guess. And there are more of that style painting. Joshua did say they don't just stay in their camp, they hunt in the valley, and I just never saw them because they stay hidden.
The Narrows up ahead. That's the Sorrows territory. They're peaceful enough, but you don't want to make them mad.
Good point. Weapons away. That looks like their camp. torches and walkways and lean-tos and such. In the back of my mind's telling me Daniel is somewhere up top, kind of a hassle to find. This is back before your compass indicated if things were above or below or on the same level as you.
You are the one Joshua Graham sent to us. Blessings of the Father in the cave on you. Daniel is waiting for you.
Thanks. Can you give me some info on Daniel? Who is he?
Daniel is a wise man and a great friend to the Sorrows. He taught me to speak the language of New Canaan, the English from the holy books.
Have you known him long?
6 years. He attended the birth of my 3rd child. It was a hard birth. The river nearly carried my water to the father, and my child's with it. Daniel knew the ways of New Canaan's medicine. He stepped in and saved both of our lives. After the birth, I asked Daniel if he would teach me what he knew of childbirth. He agreed, and so here I am.
I keep hearing about the taboo against pre-war places. Joshua said it started with the Sorrows, and that you put up the handprint warning signs. Who or what is the Father in the Cave?
Have you not heard of the God of the New Canaanites? He is our protector and our judge. He helped our ancestors find their place here in Zion. He gave us many gifts, but we are not to seek him out. His caves are forbidden to us. Those who seek them out are taken from us.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like what I've heard about the New Canaanites.
Perhaps you do not fully understand the New Canaanites. I have seen the Father's images. His holy bride and holy son were given unto the world to save it. They dwelt in the caverns of the mountains, caverns which can still be seen today. The people sinned against him, and were punished with the end that came in fire and the loss of the holy tongue. Only the New Canaanites were spared.
Tell me more about your tribe.
We have dwelt in the Narrows since the end that came in fire. When the Father in the caves punished the world and made us forget the holy tongue. We have had good relations with the other tribes in the valley, at least before Salt Upon Wounds brought his white legs here. We have Daniel to thank for our continued existence. His advice and help has kept the white legs from overrunning us so far. I do not know how long even he can protect us, though.
That is an absurdly large gauntlet. Anyway, it's starting to come back to me a little bit. I'm pretty sure the tribal dialects, the taboo and the spirit of the caves, and even the spore plants are all tied together somehow, and I think we actually need to visit the caves to get the whole story. And is this Daniel right here? Yeah, it totally is. I remembered him being up on the cliff, but apparently not. And that's a lot of blood. I guess he's tending to this guy's wounds. Maybe he was injured on a hunt or by the white legs or something.
The dead horse has told me details about the attack on your caravan. A stranger's sympathy might not count for much, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry. The Sorrows will mourn your friends too. They mourn everyone, even the white legs. They have sensitive souls. Innocent, if there is such a thing. In spite of what's happened, I hope that Joshua and I can help you out of here. But to be frank, we need your help too.
Joshua told me you needed a few things. I think this is all of it.
Well, I'll be. I was starting to lose hope we'd be able to get any of this, much less all of it. Tribals are smart, but, well, they're ignorant. Letting go of a taboo is difficult for them. So I knew it would have to be one of us. Turns out all it took was a Gentile, or, no offense. These supplies are a godsend. But if we're going to evacuate Zion without drawing more white leg attention, I need you to go back into the valley. Specifically, I need you to scout out some locations for white legs and try to recover a map of Grand Staircase, a wilderness area to the east. There's also the matter of the roads. We're going to be heading out of the east side of the park, but I'm not sure the way is clear.
And that completes the next step of the Honest Heart's main quest line. Anything to help, I'll do what I can.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. There aren't a lot of people in the wasteland with kindness to spare for anyone who isn't kin. Since you've been poking around the valley, you might see more activity from the Whitelegs. One of the Sorrow's hunters, Waking Cloud, has volunteered to help guide you through the valley. She has a special talent for staying out of sight. After this, it's just a matter of getting everyone out of here safe and sound. And hopefully you can head back to the Mojave without any more trouble.
Daniel has given you some pre-war mining explosives and a special detonator for them. They aren't useful as weapons, but could be used to collapse certain caves if that proves necessary in your exploration. And I'm guessing it will, or else the game wouldn't have given them to me. Well, it's New Vegas. There are usually multiple ways to solve any given problem.
Well, here we part ways. I'm needed back at the Dead Horses camp. Maybe I'll see you there sometime.
Are you sure? You've been a good companion so far.
Sorry. Joshua was pretty clear. Get you to Daniel, then come on home. You can take it up with him if you'd like.
Give my regards to Joshua, then.
I will. Good gunnin', Akis.
Follows Chalk has returned to the Dead Horses camp. Lost his companion perk. Maybe we should have prioritized finding all the overlooks first, but oh well. And level up. Let's get energy weapons up to a nice round 80. Bump explosives up to 40. Survival up to 95. And put the rest in explosives. And this is a perk level. And I'm only going to get 5 more after this, so I need to think about this carefully. Anything new unlock at level 40? Certified tech. More criticals against robots and more useful components when you loot them. If it works on Robo-Scorpions, it might come in handy in Old World Blues, but I'm not feeling it. Okay, this might seem like a waste, but there's so much good loot in the DLC, and not having to worry about as much inventory management is just a quality of life thing, so I'm taking strong back.
Daniel said that I was to travel with you until you have completed your scouting. Is this pleasing to you?
Well, Daniel said her perk would help me be sneakier, but I'm already as sneaky as it gets, so her companion perk probably isn't as useful as Follows Chalk's. And having companions in hardcore mode is stressful because they can die. On the other hand, another perspective never hurts when you're in an unfamiliar situation, so sounds good. Let's go.
Before we depart, our shaman, White Bird, asked me to convey his desire to speak with you.
Any idea what he wants?
He did not say. White Bird is notoriously close-lipped, but he is wise, and you would do well to speak to him.
Quiet as the waters perk. Much easier to sneak by the Whitelegs. Their perception is decreased. Okay. I stand corrected. That actually will help. Good deal. And I'm starting to think this DLC is better than I remember because I'm getting so caught up in helping everybody that I almost forgot why I'm here. I have a magazine to run, so yeah, I should definitely get to know her better. But I've been at this for several hours already, and I don't want to have to quit in the middle of anything major, so it's probably time to call it a day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.